Hello, welcome everybody to Build Fly Go. We are in Grenada, and today's flights are into Guyana and then to Brazil. We are just picking up some fuel in Guyana and then spending the night in Brazil. Um, a good bit of water crossing on this day. It's probably our biggest day water-wise. We have to avoid the Venezuelan coast and the Venezuelan airspace because they're closed to U.S. aircraft. So that sort of juts us into the ocean a little bit. Not too bad, maybe 40 miles, 50 miles out offshore, which now that I say it sounds like a lot more than, than I was thinking. So here we are, we just back taxied in Grenada. Grenada was very easy. We just walked to the AIS office, went through customs immigration, said we're a private flight, walked to the AIS office, they filed our flight plan, and we paid our bill. How much was our bill? I don't remember. It was low, maybe $20 or something for 2 nights. It really wasn't bad at all. They filed the flight plan, we took off, just as normal, get handed off from one to another. We got a couple of flight plan changes in flight. We had filed to go over the Piarco VOR and then direct to, I believe it was the Beauvais fix, and then locate fix, and then direct into Eugene Correa Airport in Georgetown, Guyana. But in flight, they kept trying to reroute us to different fixes that had us definitely more direct. I think they were being helpful, trying to send us more direct, but I didn't want more direct. I wanted closer to shore. So we had to, a few times, decline the reroute and say, no, we want to go closer to shore. And I believe what you're seeing right there is the South American shoreline that we get to see for the first time. This is, I believe that was the Venezuelan coast, and we're coming up on the Guyana coast. Yep, that's Guyana now, we're over it. Very green, very pretty, not very heavily populated. Looks like a normal city along the coastline with some agriculture and some cities and the usual stuff. Big river that goes in right there. So there's two airports right next to each other. There's the Eugene Correa, which is the sort of in-town airport, and then there's the other airport, which is the big international airport that the big flights go to. Both are airports of entry, but only the small the in-town one, has avgas, so that's the one we go to. And it was pretty easy. We did an RNAV approach into here. We filed IFR for this flight just to have the additional attention while we're flying over the ocean. We also filed IFR for the next one, and I'll talk about that one when we get going. But 10-mile final, of course, with the RNAV, full flaps here. Nice landing. Wind was right down the runway. Sort of an odd taxi. We thought they were sending us to the wrong spot. There's the terminal on the right, and he's like, "Oh yeah, park here on this taxiway." And I was like, "What the heck is going on?" But it is, it worked out. That's actually where they wanted us. We had a informal handler here. It's basically one of the ramp people who walked us step by step through everything. Awesome guy. You can see him with the jacket right there. He in the end, we gave him a few bucks, and he very much deserved it. He very much worked it. So we got fuel, we got customs and immigration right there, and then we had to go through customs and immigration on the at the airport side to get sorted out. We also got to go up in the tower and got some great pictures of the airplane from the tower, which you can see on Instagram if you're following us there. This was a fairly easy, if convoluted, a fairly easy stop. Fuel was easy and prompt. It was a very expensive stop. Guyana is charging, I think it was $230 for the navigation overflight fee. They are well aware that we have no choice and that we just have to pay the fee to get through. So fuel wasn't horrendous in comparison to other Latin American, Caribbean, basically non-US prices. I think it was like $7.50 or something like that, and they took a credit card, which helps. Yeah, we just paid for the fuel and paid cash, unfortunately, for the navigation fees. Not a scam. They gave us a receipt. It was in the tower. We filled out the book kind of thing and got an official receipt and noticed that other people had gotten receipts. I guess if it is a scam, it's a really one that's working really well for them. But anyway, so yep, paid a lot to get through there, but we needed the fuel. So taking off, and now we are going to Boa Vista in Brazil. There's some confusion with ATC here on which direction we really should be going. They wanted us to not go into the airspace for the big airport, the surface airspace for the big airport, but they didn't actually say that. They just told us arc so and so so much, and it was just sort of confusing. But we figured it out in the end. They also held us in fairly low for a long time and in the clouds, and it was bumpy, and I believe they said something about how either their radar was in-op or their VOR was in-op, or one of the two, which I think was part of the reasons why they sort of had us oddly routed and held us low. So here we go to Boa Vista. I don't know if I've mentioned, my mother lives in Brazil, and she decided to fly into Boa Vista to meet us at our first Brazilian stop. And she had talked to the airline pilot for the flight that brought her into Boa Vista and mentioned this is what's going on. So as we're getting to Boa Vista, some airliner pilot says, "Hey, are you blah, 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 blah?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh, we talked to your mother, welcome. The weather is great. Here's the winds, blah, blah, blah." And, it was just sort of a fun, unexpected surprise there. So thank you, Mr. Azul pilot, for that. It was sort of fun. So here we are getting to Boa Vista. We did the ILS Whiskey for runway 8 in Boa Vista, and really we didn't need to do the ILS here. Obviously it's very VFR, but that's what they had us set up for, and we were tired and we just decided to do it, right? I find that it's easier at times to do a programmatic landing, like an ILS or an RNAV at a new airport, than figuring out what everything looks like. There's no ATIS, things like that. But anyway, so interesting situation here. So we landed and there were reporters. There was a video camera and they interviewed us. And apparently we're going to be on local TV tomorrow night. But anyway, please subscribe to follow along, and there are more pictures as usual on Instagram. We will talk to you again tomorrow. Good night.